Hey guys, I'm Props, and today I'm going to show you how I made Darth Vader's lightsaber from the original Star Wars trilogy. If you guys want the files for these, I'll have the links to those in the description. I just modeled them in Fusion and it just took me a couple hours to make that. I then printed it out in some silver PLA. I really like the color of this filament, and it saves me the step of having to paint the lightsaber silver if I print it in like black or white PLA. I then went through and glued all the parts together using some super glue after trimming off some overhang and stuff that didn't come out quite right. And I just used some CA glue accelerant to make sure everything stuck together really fast and everything lined up. And then I went through and fit the Kyber Crystal chamber into it. And the Kyber Crystal chamber just holds everything together in place, making sure it's all lined up. So that's why I slid it in right now. And then I went through and painted the whole thing with some matte black acrylic paint. My Patreon Matthew actually bought this tube for me. It's running a little dry right now, but I'm gonna go buy another one soon. And then after the matte had dried, I painted it with some gloss acrylic black paint, just because I don't have a lot of the gloss stuff left. So I put down the base coat of matte, plus the matte stuff covers a little better than the gloss. So if you're on a budget, you can do what I did. Make sure to avoid painting the silver buttons on the top because those are supposed to be silver, not black. I got a little black paint on them, but since I'm going to weather this hilt anyways, that doesn't really matter. I mixed up a little black wash of some black acrylic paint and some water, and then just brushed that all over the lightsaber to give it a little bit of a worn look. I didn't go super heavy on the black wash because I didn't want to weather this too badly, but there was some spots and stuff that I wanted some details to pop out on, so I just did a pretty light black wash on all of those. I used an old t-shirt to wipe off all the black paint just because it also has an accumulation of just random junk and dust and stuff on it, so it kind of mixes that into it, making it a little more of a dirty wash with some particles and stuff in it, and it gives it a little bit more of a dirty look than just a black wash. So you could mix some dust and sand and stuff into it if you want a really nice black wash and dirty wash. I also glued together some wires and stuck those into the two side holes on the lightsaber to give it the wires that Darth Vader's lightsaber has in it. The wire colors change depending on what movie. I went with red and white, which are the ones in A New Hope, but you could do any of the other lightsaber or wire cutters for the lightsaber. To make the Kyber Crystal for the Kyber Crystal chamber, I simply used one of my hot glue Kyber Crystals. I'll put a link to the video that I made those in if you guys want to watch that. And I just glued that in using some hot glue into the crystal chamber. And then I let the hot glue dry, and then I went through and fit in the Kyber Crystal chamber into the lightsaber. This did require a little force since my tolerances were a little bit tighter than I wanted, but I didn't have to sand anything down to get this to fit. It just required a little bit of force, and I did accidentally break a piece off, but I just glued that on. And overall, I'm really happy with how this saber turned out. I really like the simplicity and the colors of Darth Vader's, and it really shows like an industrial lightsaber, like how Darth Vader is pretty robotic and industrial as well. If you guys don't mind, check out and support me through my Patreon. These builds really take a lot of time to make and model and print, and especially my 3D printed ones, the materials are pretty expensive, so every little bit of support that you guys give me really helps. If you guys don't mind liking and subscribing, please do. Let me know what builds and stuff you guys want me to make, and I'll get making them. See you guys next vid. Bye.